Marley from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Friday, November 15th. Okay, so we have a major day going on here today. Let's start off with the fact that Mr. Saturn, the Lord of Karma, is coming out of his retrograde. He is going to be going direct at 12 degrees in Pisces energy after 4.5 months of being retrograde. There is an astro forecast for this particular event. And of course, download your November energy guide in order to track what is going on for you, because this is going to be a major push forward, albeit it is going to be a little bit slow going. Again, low and slow does win the race, but we are moving on, moving forward. And that in itself is a huge thing for us to be very happy about. And of course, the second major thing going on here today is the full moon in Taurus energy taking place just hours after Saturn goes direct. So there is an astro forecast for this as well. You can download your November energy guide, do a little bit of shadow work in that particular guide, or do a deep dive in the shadow work. Get in an alignment with this energy by downloading your moon guide. There is a lot of information. There are a lot of resources out there for you to do the work to get in alignment so that you can roll instead of being dragged. So of course, with all of that being said, the moon is in Taurus energy, building towards the full moon in Taurus. Again, major conjunction with Uranus under this full moon energy, a trine with Pluto and those final degrees of Capricorn energy. Major breakthrough, major crumbling of the old foundation, the old structures, the old realm, the old reality that old version of self has made, that of course the new version of self not resonating with, that we've been having a hard time detaching from, letting go, releasing, if you will. This is going to be the wake up, the shake up that helps us do all of those things. So there are 11 different aspects taking place here today. 10 of them are going to involve the moon. The moon in Taurus energy, again, trying to keep us present, trying to keep us anchored, grounded in the here and now in order for us to be aware of our physical bodies, of our physical circumstances. The moon is going to make a very harsh interaction with Mercury, ruler of the mental plane, who happens to be in Sagittarius energy. Again, in his pre-retrograde shadow period, things are slowing down. Things are getting confusing in the mental plane, in our conversations, in our understandings, in our perspective. The moon being our heart space, Mercury being our head space, they're not on the same page. Mercury, of course, in Sag energy, very futuristically focused, very focused on the good, the happy-go-lucky, those rose-colored glasses. While, of course, the moon in Taurus energy, we're in this present moment. We have no want, need, or desire to think that far ahead, to think that far into the future. We are trying to keep a positive mood, positive attitude, but it's more of having the attitude of gratitude for what is working in the present moment. We are more anchored into reality. We're having an appreciation for all of the things that are working in the here and now, whereas Mercury, on the other hand, hopeful and wishful for the good things to come, kind of missing the opportunity to be anchored, to have the attitude of gratitude for the present moment. Of course, 8:09 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're going to have the only aspect here today that does not involve the moon, which of course is Mr. Saturn, going direct after 4.5 months of being retrograde. So all systems are go. Again, going to take a little bit of time to kind of, get up to speed, get up to momentum here. But this is essentially the foundation, the structured work that we've been doing in order to bring our goals, our visions, our dreams to life. Yes, that means that we have to, again, clear the space, clean the slate of the old in order for us to have a platform, a space to build new things upon. However, we are taking a little bit more of an organized, structured approach to what actually has to be done. The moon in Taurus then going to make a positive interaction with Jupiter, the planet of growth, expansion, beliefs, abundance, blessings, who of course is retrograde in Gemini energy. The whole point is to reflect upon our old ideas, our old thoughts, old opinions, old information, old knowledge that of course we've had inside of us, that we've accumulated through our tough love life experiences, that at this particular juncture we have to reflect back upon to see why it is that we're not actually putting it into practice, why we're we're not integrating it. This is putting us, again, on the fence. Gemini energy always has us split down the middle on which way to go, what direction to go, what option and opportunity to pursue. We are very considerate about our growth, about our healing, about our evolving. However, at this particular moment, we are starting to gain a little bit of a bigger, broader picture of why it is that, again, we're kind of avoiding doing the work, putting into practice that information and knowledge. And now that we have this level of awareness, because again, triggers, activations here in Scorpio season, in order to bring that darkness to light, we are able to kind of see why it is that we've been avoiding certain people, places, and things, avoiding doing the work, avoiding putting into practice what it is that we have learned. The minute that we have this realization, suddenly it changes the game. It changes our emotions. It changes our whole disposition and demeanor on what it is that we want to do from here. And again, Jupiter being aspected in a positive way is definitely bringing a more optimistic lens, a more positive mood and attitude, and really starting to see the options and opportunities that we have to make moves, to move on, to actually move forward. The moon is going to make an awkward interaction with Venus. Venus, of course, the goddess of love, beauty, worth, pleasure, and money, ruler over this full moon in Taurus energy. Venus is currently in Capricorn energy, honing in on what is going to make her feel happy and safe and secure and stable for the long term. The Capricorn energy is a manifesting energy. We are definitely in our heart space, allowing ourselves to be heart-led in what it is that we have to build, what we have to create for our future selves. So the moon interacting with Venus, and of course Venus rules over the Taurus energy, there's going to be a realization what it is that we actually want, what it is that we actually need, what it is that we actually desire. The last couple of days, specifically, where there has been a lot of, I'm going to say, trigger points putting us on the bench, having to act as the observer, we've been really focused on the wrong things. We've been focused on distractions, thinking of things that would make us happy, that would make us feel safe and secure. Realistically, totally overlooking our basic needs. So again, there has been a little bit of an exaggeration. Again, thank you, Venus, for being in that Sag energy. We're just shifting into this Capricorn energy, just acclimatizing to it. So now we have a much more grounded approach to our basic wants, needs, and desires. And these aha moments definitely putting into perspective where it is that we're at, what is working, what we want to build upon, what we want to strengthen, and what it is that we don't. And that, of course, is going to help us here in the Scorpio season to close the door upon those particular aspects, clear the space in order for us to build something new in the place of the things that we're currently closing the door upon. The moon in Taurus then going to make a positive interaction with Chiron, the wounded healer, who is retrograde in Aries energy, helping us to bring this new version of self online, helping us to examine the parts, the pain, the trauma, the wounds still alive and well within this new version of self that, again, we're not running from, we're not trying to ignore, we're not trying to sweep it under the rug, we're trying to do something about it. And so the moon interacting with Chiron in this way, we are definitely focused on stabilizing, on having the mood, the attitude of gratitude. We are definitely more focused on our growth, on our healing, on what is working, on where it is that we're feeling strong, where it is that we're feeling comfortable and familiar in this new skin, so to speak, and where it is now, because of the way that we're feeling, we have a different perspective. We have a different, let's call it, lens in which we are looking at ourselves and the people in the world around us, and really challenging us to, again, do better and be better, where it is that we can make some improvements in order to be our best selves. The moon is then going to semi-square, creating a little bit of tension and conflict with that North Node in Aries energy. That North Node is trying to get us on the right path, trying to get us in alignment with our soul's potential, with our soul's purpose and mission. But again, thinking too far into the future. That's a little bit overwhelming for the moon in Taurus right now. So the disconnect, the detachment, the growing pain is, how can we be so grounded, so anchored here in this present moment, but yet still give ourselves permission to think about options and opportunities to grow, to move on, to heal, to fix, to repair, to actually pursue something new without getting overwhelmed. Now, it is going to be a tricky thing to do because, again, there's a lot of energy here with this full moon in Taurus. However, we do have to realize where it is that our mind, our heart space, kind of wandering into the potentiality of what could be. And then we get overwhelmed. We have to be aware of that in order to bring us back to our center, into our heart space, into our physical body, and recognize where it is that, again, we allow ourselves to think that far in the future until we get overwhelmed to a point where we don't want to do it anymore. We don't want to get to that point. We want to balance things out. Like, oh, okay, well, I'm feeling good thinking about this, feeling good thinking about this. Whoop, overwhelmed. Okay, that's enough. I'm coming back to my center. I'm reassuring myself why I feel good and strong and safe and secure here in this present moment, and we'll back burner that particular futuristic thinking until later. We have the moon then making a positive interaction with Mars. Mars is the god of war, ruling over our physical energy, our drive, our passion, our desires, even our anger. Mars is in this Leo energy, the heart and soul of the zodiac. We've been on the bench because of this opposition with Mr. Pluto. We are slowly but surely moving away from that particular opposition, which means that over the next week or so, we're actually going to be put back into the game, put back on the playing field. We are going to have options and opportunities to make some big dramatic moves in our lives in order to pursue what it is that our heart needs us to pursue and put ourselves on a new path. A new path towards new goals, new dreams, new visions, where this new version of self wants to be fully expressed through this physical meat suit. So this particular interaction is giving us a grounded approach here in this present moment, anchored into our physicality, very aware of how our physical form is responding to some of the ideas, some of the thoughts, some of the possibilities that, of course, we are weighing the pros and cons between in order to cultivate this fire, spark, and flame that we need to be building within ourselves in order for us to stay the course, especially when we run into challenges. So this is going to feel very motivating. It's going to feel very, I'm going to say, uplifting to the point where we're semi-excited. I use the word semi because we are in a full moon, so there's nothing, full on positive or full on negative. It is choppy. It is back and forth. The ocean is definitely in motion, and we, at this particular juncture, are feeling pretty good about the dreams, the goals, the visions, the actions, the moves in which we want to make. 4:29 p.m. the Eastern Standard Time, the moon in Taurus going to directly oppose and sit across from the sun in Scorpio energy. This is what gives us our full moon. Anytime that the sun and the moon are coming together in any kind of way, there's going to be an aha moment. There's going to be an emotional awareness of what it is that we need to do, what it is that we need to pursue, what we have to let kind of die off, and what we have to bring to life. And so again, full moon, there's a full moon astro forecast for this. There is a full moon guide in order to help you walk through all of the energies that are supporting change, supporting transformation, and really showing us why it is that we're resisting making the changes that we know that we need to make. We have the moon then making a positive interaction with Saturn. So Saturn just went direct, again, standing perfectly still. There is no forward movement at this particular juncture. It's just like he's waking up out of a drunken slumber. It's going to take him a little bit of time to piece together what just happened over the last 4.5 months of having this retrograde energy pushed inside of us, internalized, if you will, to see where it is that we have to boss up. Where it is that we have to do better, where it is that we have to be better, where it is that we have to rise up to the challenges of these new roles and responsibilities that, karmically speaking, come with this new timeline shift, this new life lesson, this new chapter. And so this is a beautiful energy because, first of all, Saturn is in Pisces energy. We love Pisces and Taurus energy working together because whatever it is that we can dream up, imagine, fantasize about in the Pisces energy, we're able to bring it to life through the Taurus energy, as the Taurus energy rules over the physical realm. And so Saturn brings a little bit of a seriousness, brings a little bit of a somberness, but this is a positive interaction, so it's not going to be a harsh reality check. It just means that we're getting organized. We're getting organized in our thoughts, organized in our feelings, organized in our plans and strategies on how it is that we're going to break away from the old, close the door on a lot of topics and themes, and clear the space and clean the slate in order for us to start building these new goals, visions, and dreams. 6:33 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have the moon in Taurus energy coming up to, bumping into, teaming up with, conjunct Uranus, who of course is retrograde in this Taurus energy. So, we're already in a conjunction. Uranus is a major starring role here in this full moon. We were 1 degree away from each other when the moon and the sun were in a direct opposition at its peak potency. And then here we are, 2 hours later, there is an exact conjunction, which means that this is the reset. This is the restart. This is where, again, the lightning bolt of energy from Uranus gets kind of thrown down to this earth plane. The lightning bolt strikes the earth. There's a reverberation, a ripple effect of this electricity moving through the physical realm, destabilizing our physical realms in order to illuminate the weakest parts of the foundations and structures that are still in existence that, of course, need to fall down, crumble, and totally be destroyed before we have room to start building something new. So again, I'm going to encourage you to take a listen to that full moon astro forecast where I go into a little bit more of a rant on what, this Uranian energy does, and especially the trine to Pluto, which is having its last hurrah before the curtain closes on him on the 19th. There is a lot to unpack, but just know that this is going to have a major effect on our central nervous systems. We could be overwhelmed with energy at this particular juncture, which we would anyways with a full moon. It'd be pretty hard to kind of pinpoint what is actually triggering these energies, but nonetheless, the Uranian energy being that lightning bolt definitely affects our central nervous system. You may have increased anxiety or excitement or just confusion at this particular juncture. Please just understand that this is the pivotal point where change is going to happen. Okay. So again, this is like when you're unlocking a safe, and you have to go all the way to the left until you hear the click and then all the way back to hear the other click. When you finally unlock that particular safe, it means that, again, you have the option to open that door to see what's inside. So when we have these particular astrology aspects, it may not happen in the moment in which the aspect is happening, but it unlocks the safe for us to open the door, slowly but surely, to reveal what is actually inside. This can be weeks, days, months, until you actually see this manifest. I wouldn't say months because we're going to be out of war by that particular juncture. But just know that when I say like 6:33 p.m. that this particular energy is happening, please don't be looking around at that time waiting for that energy to manifest. It does take a little bit of time to come into form. However, you're going to be feeling those particular energies. Definitely keep your eye on the Schumann resonance. I would suspect that we are going to see major lightning bolts come into the earth at this particular point in time, and we are definitely going to see that materialize on the Schumann resonance. So the last thing that we have going on here today is this moon in Taurus energy, sextiling, beautiful interaction with Neptune, who of course is retrograde in Pisces energy. So again, we have another opportunity to again refresh, renew, remind ourselves of our higher selves, our intuition, our solar spirit, what it is, dreams, visions, and goals that this higher spirit wants us to do, wants us to pursue, and whatever it is that we can envision, whatever it is that we can emote to back that vision up, we're going to be able to manifest it, bringing it into the heart center, bringing it to the physical body, really getting detailed about that vision and planning and strategizing logically and practically how we're going to bring this particular dream, goal, and vision to life.